So now let's speak about theologians. If theology is faith-seeking understanding, theologians are those who undertake the task of understanding what is contained in the faith, what has been revealed by God. Now, of course, there are capital T theologians, professional theologians, those people who teach in theology at university and seminary settings and write books and articles about them. Those people exist. However, in a very real sense, all of the baptized are theologians, because all the baptized have received the faith and are invited by God as rational creatures to understand this God who has recreated them in baptism and has called them, the people, his divinely adopted children, to himself. So all of us, no matter what our rank or our position is, all of us are called to be theologians, and indeed all of us are invited to be theologians, to understand what God has revealed about himself and about what he does in us because of himself. And so what are some of the features of the theologian? The first is, of course, humility. It is a remarkable thing that the infinite, the ineffable, the supreme, the wise, the omnipotent God, creator of the universe, redeemer of humanity, has deigned to share with us mere mortals, finite, little, eensy, weensy, teensy, human persons with small and weak minds. He has deigned to share with us his divine truth. In addition to being a discipline of profound humility before God, it's also a discipline of profound magnanimity. And by that we mean there is a big souledness, there's a big holy ambition of the theologian to aspire to understand these precious truths that God has given us freely from his divine goodness and love for us. It would be a waste if we were to think that God just gave us these precious truths and we just keep these precious truths in our pocket, don't scrutinize them, don't appreciate them, don't penetrate in them, don't utilize the gifts that God has given us. That's a waste. So Catholic theology is both a very humble discipline because we know that we are not the origin of the first principles. They come from God. And yet it's a magnanimous discipline because it says, wow, if God has given us, unworthy though we are, these profound truths that are truly knowable, then I can. God doesn't do anything in vain. It is possible to know, to aspire to achieve some true and profound knowledge about God. So Catholic theology is both humble and it's magnanimous. Practically speaking, concretely speaking, it's also a discipline that requires great industry. Catholic theology is not simply Lectio Divina. It's not simply spiritual reading. It's not simply listening to pious, holy, and even profound spiritual authors and teachings. It is the active work of, okay, Lord, I will apply my mind, my soul, my heart to understanding what you have said. And I will do that to the utmost degree of my capacities, which means that I have to think and reflect and contemplate with intensity, with care, with precision, with research in a way that stretches the natural capacities, the natural habits, the natural practices of our own reflection. The work of a profound and faithful Catholic theologian is an arduous work because God invites the human mind to be stretched, so to speak, up to himself. And finally, there are many other things, but there's another very important thing that is characteristic of Catholic theologians, and that is gratitude. No Catholic theologian thinks that what he or she does is the end, the product, the ultimate goal of his or her thought. Rather, through faith-seeking understanding, we search for the one true God. And we realize then that from beginning to end, from the principles that we have received, from our very nature, which has an intellect that can undertake the task of understanding, all of this is a gift. And we have the example and the writings and the precedents of some of the greatest minds, the greatest souls of history, Catholic theologians, St. Augustine, St. Bonaventure, St. Thomas Aquinas, Blessed Duns Scotus, Luis de Molina, Joseph Ratzinger, and on and on and on. We can look with gratitude to the good things that God has done in their minds and in their hearts and receive from them wisdom through their instrumentality to understand God. So in sum, Catholic theology is a humble discipline. It's a magnanimous discipline. It's an arduous and demanding discipline. And it's a discipline shaped by gratitude for all that we have received from God, whether it be the principles from God, whether it be our power of knowing, our nature from God, or the elder brothers and sisters in faith and theology that God has provided for us in the saints and in the doctors and theologians of the Church.